Sci-fi Express Lane, 6 hours into my drive back from Urban Nerd Con in Montgomery. Shout out to like the whole team that put it together. I know it's a lot to try to do a con, and they said they've been working on it for years, so definitely giving props out to them for putting it together. My blog today is on I Dream of a Black Comic Con, right? Ever since I went to my first Comic Con in 2000, I think it was 2007, right? I attended the Black panel, and I felt like a black person in a big genre. And I had no problems with it because it allowed me to see what I liked in a bigger genre of things that there were for everybody. But I found a place in that big pool of dreams and ideas and thoughts. And I found it with a group of people very much like myself. You know, they talk about the man box, right? And we have something similar for black people, you know. So it could be called the black box, you know, what you fit into to be considered a black person. But in reality, there is a base root, you know, beyond just our appearance that still extends in all of our variations. But just like the man box, it's really not a box of behavior, right? It's not that type of box. And a lot of times, you know, people try to put you into that box, put you into that box, you know, saying, you know, man up, you know, or in the black box, you're not black enough, you know. And really those things might better be said in different ways, you know, maybe toughen up, right? Or maybe, you know, you're a different type of black person, you know, I've never met somebody black like you, you know. So those are the type of things that I think impact me when I think of a black Comic Con. When I dream of a black Comic Con, I think of all of the dimensions of what a black person is when they enter the realm of comic books, toys, fantasy, science fiction, all that is Comic Con. Because even though we're not monolithic and we all don't like the exact same things, there is similarities that we have within the group of us that like manga, within the group of us that like toys, within the group of us that play video games and first-person shooters, or the group of us that read superhero comics, or the group of us that like graphic novels, whatever, you know, or, you know, the group of us that like romantic sci-fi, you know, sci-fi stories and fantasies. So there is that element that still pulls us together, you know, as black people. And in the process of me going to all of these Comic Cons, you know, from Comic Con to New York Comic Con to the Nerd Cons to the Black Comic Cons to the Anime Cons, there is still a quest for this Black Comic Con. Now, they got one that's called the Black Comic Con, that's the Onyx Con in Atlanta. They have the oldest one, ECBOC, which is in East Coast Black Age of Comics, that's in Philadelphia. Then up in Detroit, probably second oldest, is you got the Motor City Black Age of Comics. And then in New Jersey, they have one called the Kim Fest. Now, there's two big ones that eclipse all of this, and that is the Black Comics Day in Harlem at the Schomburg, probably is the top of the food chain when it comes to Black Comic Cons. I'm going to say that, but then I also think that Blurred Con in DC is another one that's real tops. And then in LA, they have, I'm going to say it's Black Comics Day, because I can't remember the name between what the one in San Diego does and the one in Harlem does. But I know Harlem is easily the biggest, right? And then we have the one in San Diego. Harlem goes on in January, San Diego goes on in February. And these are all pre-COVID times of the year because everything is changing. But then we have Black people that produce conventions, like Otaku Fest down in Miami. And they don't really focus on Black at all. They're an anime convention, but he does support Black artists because he's a Black artist himself, and things like that happen at his convention, but it's not on the billing. So when I say I dream of a Black Comic Con, yeah, I want it to actually be billed. I want it to be like ECMA, you know, I want it to be mega, you know what I'm saying? And when I left Urban Nerd Con, I, you know, felt that they could continue doing what they did and become a bigger player. But, you know, seeing something like theirs in the early stages made me think of what I really want when I dream of a Black Comic Con. And of course, I'm thinking of cosplayers. Oh, you know, one of the ones that was really close to it was WakandaCon in Chicago. And I don't know why they didn't do it again, but that was really cool. What I think of course, is Black cosplayers and others, but cosplaying Black characters, right? And not just the Luke Cages and Black Panthers and Storms, but some original Black characters from the independent Black created characters. And even if it's only a special award given to somebody, then that's fine. Amidst the, you know, cosplay contest, you have overall best winner, you have this and this and that, you know, best child, best woman, best male, and you can throw in there best cosplayed Black created character. And I think that's a good lead, you know, for an additional growth. But, you know, I was thinking of a Black Comic Con when I saw the TV show Luke Cage on Netflix. And I was like, damn, this is really where I'm looking at, you know. I don't want to have, you know, to lose my hip-hop, my whatever it is, Black card to get into this, because all of my rappers, you know, have read comic books. They've liked superheroes. They've liked graphic novels. Many of them have gone on to do these things. But yet, when we do a convention, all the cool kids, you know, that's got the spinning rims, it's got the shoe game on 10, you know, they're not at the Comic Cons, you know. This was a prime example in Montgomery. They had a big picnic, you know, with kickball and water sports and all of that. And I'm not saying I want ratchetness to come. Don't get me wrong. I don't want ratchetness to come, because I know as a Black person, we more than just ratchet. You know what I'm saying? I know the Greek picnic and the Freaknik were Greek events before they became tricked out events, right? So when I say I want the cool kids to come, I want people like me, you know, when I was 18, but yet we're still not there. When I think of a Black Comic Con, I'm thinking of panels talking about Black issues. You know, one of the things that WakandaCon got correct in Chicago was they brought in social activism. You know what I'm saying? I think, again, we are still in a state of soft oppression with a strong legacy of oppression that we got to still figure out how to work our way out of. As much as we dreaming of these science fiction, futuristic, you know, superheroes and stuff, we still still got to keep, in mind that we can't go too high off the speed limit. We got to watch ourselves in this America. We got to double check, our investments. Whenever we ask people to do things for us, we got to watch all that stuff because they be sneaking, they be redlining us, they be giving higher interest rates to us. So it's still not a fair country, and we still got to keep our eyes and ears open. So working together and doing some community level stuff is important. And especially when we gather around superheroes and people who solve problems in our stories, we need to embody a little bit of that in our life. Of course, I'm looking at film. I'm looking at, science fiction films, superhero films, horror. All that needs to be there. But I also think of the music. What I liked about Luke Cage was KRS-One performed on the show. Rakim performed on the show. And that brought a level, and I'm not even saying hip-hop has to be the only thing there. My man Kwame, the one that is the rapper, he does a podcast now where he reviews toys. He needs to be at a Comic-Con. And when I'm talking illustrators and writers, DMC is a writer-illustrator. We always see him at these conventions. He needs to be the center focus. He's one of the prime examples of we talking about, the cool guys and these kids and people outside the comic convention circle. He needs to be the one that comes in there. And I love all my black writers and all my black actors and stuff. But, if we're going to get there, we need to expand who we invite to these conventions, because we have a slightly different taste. They need to invite, the black actors from sci-fi superhero shows, but also other aspects of television. If we watching these Tyler Perry shows, get one of them Tyler Perry actors. If we watching Snowfall and Shy, get one of them actors to come in. Shoot, my man Gary Phillips, he writes Snowfall, and he's a comic book dude and a science fiction writer. So he does all of what I'm talking about. Same thing with Rodney Barnes. But these are the people that need to be coming, and they need to be building those things. And then just like I said, KRS-One performed on the Luke Cage show. Well, shoot, we need to bring him or somebody to perform at our Black Comic-Con. I think that's a beautiful mix. Of course, I love to pimp the ride, but shoot, have a car show. You know what I'm saying? We don't have that many car shows anyway, and I know DJ Envy is doing his big car show that tours the country, but shoot, if we're looking for comics, there's a comic book connection to these car shows. A lot of these cars aren't just orange with spinning rims. Many of them have superheroes on them. Some of them have superhero total themes. Well, those are the people that we need to bring to a Comic-Con. There's hip-hoppers that perform at comic conventions all over the country. I saw this guy, I think he's out of Ohio. I'm gonna say Ohio, Detroit, or Chicago, anywhere in that northern region. Mega Ran has a comic book that he produces, and he goes out and raps and does freestyle rap. He's somebody that's affordable, right? And he's in this neat geek nerd culture. So when I think of a Black Comic-Con, I'm thinking everything reimagines, from film to cosplay to cars to music to the guests, and I'm saying this because this is the type of convention that I would like to produce and work on. I had Florida LitCon. I just didn't have the music there, and I didn't have room for a car show, and we didn't do a cosplay. But we did a lot of the other things. We did the panels, we had the guests, we did film. So I'm not totally upset, but I want even something bigger than what I've done. And if I can do it, I'll do it. But there you have it. So Urban Nerd Con, I wish you the best of growth. Hard work does it, and you guys are on your way. Thank you for having me as a guest, and this is me just expressing myself on the Sci-Fi Express Lane. So remember what I always say: like this video, share this video on your platforms, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, right? I don't know if you can share on YouTube, but Facebook, you know, share this. What's happening, right? Then subscribe so you can see the future of my videos, which I probably do like one video a week. But sometimes I get the Holy Ghost and I do 2 videos, you know, back to back. But also comment. This is a interactive conversation that I just use myself as a 15-minute conversation springboard. So that's it. Look forward to the next one. Peace.